Welcome to State of Wellbeing, a podcast from South Dakota State University. The State of Wellbeing is a holistic well-being podcast with the goal of supporting the campus community as we strive to be a growing, high-performing, and healthy university.
Welcome to State of Wellbeing. I'm Caitlin Walters, Wellbeing Specialist, and joining me today is Kevin from the Miller Wellness Center. Kevin, you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do here at SDSU?
Yeah, thanks, Caitlin, for having me today. Like I said, my name's Kevin. I am the Member Service Coordinator at the Miller Wellness Center. I've been here now for a little over 5 years. Directly deal with the community memberships, so for the Brookings community, the SDSU employees memberships, but I also deal with a lot of student memberships if they have any issues or any questions, what comes with the membership, anything along those lines. But I also do some programming, so we do some birthday parties, some events on the weekends that I do with my student staff, which I about have 15 of those, so it's a lot of fun. Always keeps things interesting with the student staff.
Yeah, thanks for being here. As you can tell, we are talking about Miller Wellness Center and maybe a little bit more on the membership side of things. We've had a couple episodes that were about the Miller Wellness Center, but more about just kind of overall our resources. But I thought you're an expert in kind of more specifically the memberships and some of those other programs that you mentioned. And I thought it might be interesting for our faculty, staff, and community members to hear a little bit more about what we offer.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So our facility is open to both students and to the community of Brookings. So the community means those who work outside the university, but also those who work in the university. So we have community rates starting at $63 per month, but we also have faculty and staff rates around $51 a month plus secondaries. So anyone can join. We do host a lot of students every day, from their general wellness to just social, hanging out. But we also have spaces available and programming offering for the community that they take advantage of.
Yeah, and I think sometimes maybe the response that I hear is like, well, I don't really want to have to, if I'm a faculty member, I don't maybe necessarily want to have to work out with the students. But I do think that there are good times throughout the day that you can get in there where there's a little bit more space and things aren't being used. Do you know what those ideal times are if you're maybe not a college student?
Yes. So kind of to go back a little bit on that question, our facility is about 115,000 square feet. So it's a very large space. We have a variety of different areas that you can exercise in. So maybe a little less crowded versus others, so you see less students. The main hours that we see the students is early in the morning, so like 5 a.m. till about 7:30, right before the 8 a.m. classes begin. And then again, starting around 2 o'clock until about 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. So if you're available, come between 8 and 11, 8 and noon, and it's a lot quieter. We see a lot of our retired population come in during that time. We have a lot of classes geared towards them, so they utilize the facility. And at that time, everything is open for the community. So we have the pool typically is open at that time. Obviously, our indoor track. You can still use our climbing wall. And then all of our fitness spaces is open during that time.
I think it's actually really unique that our space is open to both students and then also to faculty and staff, as well as just like general community. I know I've worked in other recreation centers on campuses that are not open to anyone but students. And so I think it's really nice that we do open up to everybody. Because it's so convenient. Like you can, take your lunch break and come work out. Maybe you can adjust your hours of your lunch break a little bit. So maybe you start your lunch break a little earlier and you can maybe beat that noon rush if there is a rush. I think, so I personally am like a huge advocate because I think that it is just extremely convenient. And we have some amenities that nobody else in the area have. Do you want to name some of those amenities that we have that no other facilities in the area have?
Yeah, love to. So we have an indoor track. We're the only place in Brookings that offers an indoor track to the community. On top of that, we have a climbing wall that you can both top rope and boulder on. So that's a lot of fun, not only for yourself and for the little kids. And then we also offer an indoor pool. With the pool, we offer a variety of different things. So we have group fitness classes in the pool, such as water aerobics, and then we have paddleboard yoga, which is a great class to be a part of. And then we have swim lessons starting from parent-child, infant level, all the way up to adult swim lessons. And then we also have private swim lessons too for that. And then we naturally have the lap swim in the pool. And then with that, we have some reformer classes too. You're going to see them more and more popular within the community, but we do have them in our office space now. We have a personalized studio for them that you can take a class. We have certified instructors that will offer you a great class and a great experience.
Yeah, I have taken one of those classes, and it was extremely fun, and I think pretty like open to all ability levels. Like, I'd never done one before, and I really enjoyed it and felt like it was just challenging enough without being like overwhelming. So I loved it. Are there any other benefits of utilizing the Miller Wellness Center?
Yes. So when I usually talk with someone, especially who works on campus, I like to highlight a few different things. It's good just to have that social connection. You can be around others who work on campus, who are on campus on a daily basis, just connecting with them, throwing around ideas, building those connections for later. But also you get to connect with students. But it's also really cool for the students to see their professor or their instructor outside of the classroom because they get to see them as a human. So it's really fun for them because they can have natural conversations just, when you check in, asking for equipment or just general questions. And then you get to see them grow. Because in the classroom setting, you only get to see one side of them. They're always really focused on their work. But when they leave the classroom, you get to see the fun side. You get to see them just making jokes, laughing. Hopefully they'll do that in the classroom too. But you get to see it more in our space because we're very relaxed. We're very laid back. And it's just a good time. And then if we have students for 4 years, you get to see them start at an entry-level position, maybe at the front desk or maybe as a lifeguard. But then when they graduate in 4 years, hopefully, you can see them being operation managers or a supervisor in intramurals, which is a lot of fun because you get to see that leadership growth. And then hopefully, they move on and get full-time jobs right away or grad school. And you get to be part of that journey with them, too, as a member.
Yeah, I obviously am a member at the Miller Wellness Center, and I utilize a lot of those spaces. And I've also kind of we've developed like a little group of coworkers, friends that we all lift together at lunchtime. And we've been able to encourage some people to start like heavy lifting that maybe haven't in the past because that equipment is here. But then we also kind of take turns participating in the group fitness classes, which are super fun. And I just love that those classes are offered at different times throughout the day. So we usually either join the lunchtime group fitness lift, or maybe if like our lunch hour is busy, we'll join the 4:00 group fitness. But those group fitness classes, I think, are a really great opportunity as well.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear that you have a group that, may start small and now you're venturing out onto the floors, like the fitness floors and lifting. That's great to see. With group fitness, it's really cool. We offer currently over 70 classes each week. Group fitness comes with your membership, so it is at no additional cost. With one caveat, which is that reformers class. There is a additional cost with that, so members and non-members can be a part of that class. But with group fitness, we have a lot of instructors that are students. But we also employ a lot of, adult instructors. So we have 2 in our office that will teach a cycling class. We also have some adults outside of the university that come in and teach like yoga classes. They might teach a water aerobics class or a PIO class, which is really cool because it's easier to connect maybe with your own peers versus a student. But you can be part of those classes. But when you're talking about, getting that confidence and going out onto those fitness floors when they're a little bit busier, for sure, we do offer a morning class on our North Fitness. It's just a little space where they do kind of a circuit training. It's a great time to just feel comfortable in the space while they lead you through different exercises. So where you can be more comfortable when you first go out there. You're not like, oh, I don't know what this piece of equipment does. Like, you already had that introductory. So that's a great fitness class that happens on the mornings of like Tuesdays and Fridays at like 5:30.
Yeah, I think that's a great plug. And it's nice because during those classes, typically they kind of rope off the area. So if you're like, man, I want to do some lifting, but I can never find space, joining those classes, you're kind of guaranteed the space too. So I think that's another plus to it. I did want to go back to, I think you made a really good point of, as faculty and staff, it's nice for students to see you working out. I don't remember off the top of my head the exact percentage, but I do know that our faculty and staff, when surveyed, felt that their well-being directly impacts their students' well-being. And I think, like you were saying, like role modeling that, like, hey, it's important to prioritize your wellness. It's important to have some kind of physical activity in your day. And when they see you doing that, I think that, it's an encouragement that, like, they know that you're busy too. And it's like, oh, wow, if they can find time to do that, so can I, or I can commit to a schedule. I think there's a couple faculty and staff that are really committed to their exercise routine. And I think seeing that can be really encouraging for our students as well. So again, it's like a role model piece, which we know our faculty and staff also believe is important for not only their well-being, for their students' well-being too.
Yeah. I personally, with my staff, love to talk about work-life balance too. And so whenever I say it, kind of goes in one ear, out the other. Oh, our supervisor's talking again, like, got to listen. But when they see actual professionals outside of the wellness center, making that I have to work out for an hour or 2 hours today, it kind of hits home with them. It's like, oh, Kevin knows what he's talking about a little bit today. It's not just him talking the talk. Like, so that's always really cool. He's like, oh, my professor just took an hour instead of like sitting in his office or her office, and they came and worked out, took care of themselves.
And I didn't tell you I was going to ask you about this, but I do think you're such an advocate for your students. You supervise the students that are kind of that like welcome student that sits at that main desk. What do you feel like they get out of that position? Like, what are they learning from that type of work, that they do here?
Yeah, it's a super unique position because we don't just hire like one major. Like, we're not just going for like sport management majors or business majors along those lines. I hire everyone. We have nursing students, we have ag students, engineers. So it's really cool because they come together, they get to learn from each other. We have a lot of students that know nothing about computer science because they're in the nursing field, but all of a sudden they have one conversation, they learn a lot, they gain an interest, and like, oh, it's really cool. And so they get to learn a lot from each other. But on top of that, they learn a lot of transferable skills. So we are big in customer service. It's our number one thing, customer service, communication. So they learn a lot of those skills. We do not hire based on experience. So an 18-year-old who's never had a job in their life is more than welcome to apply and, get a job with us. And then we can really help them out. So I currently have a student right now, and he said in our interview, like, I really want to just work on putting myself out there. So I'm actively looking for them to find ways to put themselves out there. So anytime I can say, hey, I need to do that, get more comfortable, I will encourage them so they can just build that confidence. So when they get 19, 20, look for promotions, they feel more comfortable. They are getting more excited for new opportunities. So.
And I think just to plug, even if you're a member, if you're not a member, if you just come in for the day, say hi to that person at the front desk rather than just like scanning and walking in, and maybe like ask them how they're doing or ask them what they're studying, have a short conversation with them. But I know you've done a lot of work with them for customer service, and that you've done a really great job getting those students to a point where they provide just really excellent customer service for a position that can sometimes be thankless, being that like customer service agent. And so I recommend people say hi because they're excited to see you, and oftentimes those students, they recognize people, and especially if you're coming regularly, they're excited to see you coming in for your workout. So maybe stop and say hi.
Yeah, don't be afraid to take the earbud out for 1 second and say hello.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about, you talked about the cost of the membership. How does Miller Wellness Center work with different types of insurances for memberships? Because I know some people might not realize it, but if you have like SDSU member insurance, there are some ways that you can apply that insurance towards your membership depending on your type of membership. And I think you're kind of more of an expert on that. So if you don't mind sharing some of that information, that'd be great.
Yes. I'm first going to start with the community. So it's a little bit easier. So we partner with a lot of different companies. Some of the big ones that the community has that we see a lot is like the Avera insurance plans or the Sanford insurance plans. And with those plans, you can purchase a membership with us, and based on the number of times you use the facility every month, you can be reimbursed. So sometimes the reimbursement is $10, sometimes the reimbursement is $20, and that works for anyone who has the plan. So if you yourself and your partner both have Avera insurance, you both will sign up for it, and you can both get reimbursed. We handle all your visit submissions, so no work on your end. As long as you sign up on the right platform, then you're good to go. I will handle everything for you. If you work for the university or have state insurance, so the Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Dakota, there is a plan within that. It's called Fitness Your Way by Tivity Health. It sits around $40 per month. We are the power tier. So there's 3 different tiers, and you have to select the power one. Because of the amenities we have, we get placed into a certain tier. And then once you sign up for that, you make that payment, you will receive a 16-digit code starting with 2300. You will bring that to us, and then we will give you a membership at a reduced rate. So technically it will be free. You won't pay us anything, but you will have a membership, and you can use our facility just like any other paying member has for it. With that, we will again submit your visits for you too. So again, when it says like submitting visits, we handle all that for you.
Yeah, so I wanted to maybe, especially I think you do from what I understand, you do need to be the only person on your membership for that to work. Is that correct? So no family membership?
For the Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Dakota, that is correct. So they do, if you want secondaries, you would have to pay an additional $40 for that. When you come to us with those questions, we will provide all to you, and we will typically steer you towards our membership plans because it is a little bit cheaper. Especially
if you have multiple.
Yeah, especially when you get into like the kids and having 3 to 4 individuals. But if you're just by yourself, you can go into that power tier. A little fun fact about the Blue Cross Blue Shield, their Fitness Your Way by Tivity Health, it gives you access to over 2,500 gyms in this region alone. Like it's nationwide. So if you're on vacation, you can use it there. If you snowbird, you can use it in Arizona, Florida, Texas, wherever you're snowbirding at. So it's a really cool feature for a lot of people to have. But it's on the blue365deals.com. So that is where you locate that.
And I want to maybe clarify the math on that for folks. So for a regular membership, if you're just paying out of pocket and your faculty staff, you said it was around $51
plus tax.
So you can do the math yourself, but $51 versus paying $40 a month through the Blue Cross Blue Shield. So again, I think that's a little known fact. I think people don't realize that they can do that. And I know when we talk employee benefits, that's an important one that we want to highlight for folks because, cost can sometimes be a barrier. And so making sure folks know that there are ways to maybe save some money on that as well.
For sure. And we totally understand insurance can be extremely difficult to work with at times. So we always encourage people to stop in. We can help you out. We know a little bit. We don't know everything, but we can definitely help you out and make sure you have all the correct information to make the best decision for yourself.
We'll talk a little bit about some of the promotions that you offer or events that you host, but I did want to ask, what's an area of the facility that you wish more either students, faculty, staff, community members used more often?
Great question. I wouldn't necessarily say an area. It's more of a service that we offer, and it's our outdoor gear rental service. So this is available for both members and non-members. So with our gear rental program, you can check out yard games, you can check out kayaks, canoes, camping gear, cross-country skis whenever it snows in South Dakota a few times a year. We do have bikes available. So these items can go anywhere. You don't have to keep them in Brookings. You don't have to keep them in South Dakota. If you're going on a family trip in Iowa, you're more than welcome to take the kayaks to Iowa. We have trailers for you that you can rent also, and you pay per day. So if you want it for 3 days, you just pay for 3 days, and then you just return it on that third day, and no questions asked. We're happy as long as it's in good condition and clean. But that is something I wish more people knew about. It's kind of a hidden gem. We promote it as much as we can, but we always have that next person up who says, I never knew about this. That is one area I wish people would utilize more. But yeah, in the facility, everyone uses everything. It's awesome to see it, though.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm a huge advocate for using that equipment and checking out that space, because it is something that is so nice, because going out and purchasing like your own kayak or canoe is really expensive, and being able to just rent it, from here. Also having a trailer is really nice, because I know I have damaged the roof of my small car multiple times by trying to strap boats to the top of it. So the trailer is a really nice option for folks who are able to haul a trailer. So I wanted to wrap up by asking you about, I know you can't, maybe we've already missed some of the promotions, but some of the times of the year that you either offer free access or different events that folks should just have on their radar for future if you were to offer them too, or if you have any coming up that you want to kind of plug.
Yeah, so kind of throughout the year, we offer free access for both the community and for faculty staff. So if you're in the community, you'll see different times over maybe big holiday breaks. Summer times, we might just offer a couple of free days. The first of the year, you're always going to see free access at the first of the year every year. Just to, let people see the facility. It's during winter break. It's quieter. So it's just a good time to get in. But then you'll also see over spring break for faculty, staff, and again, quieter time. They can just come in, see the space when it's not super crowded, super busy. During spring break, a lot of departments on campus will do a lot of programming in our space. So you'll see student affairs do some just relaxation time to encourage people to just come over, play some pickleball, or, walk on the track. So that's always a lot of fun to see. But then, in terms of, different programming, you'll see, on a couple Saturdays a month, a family rec day during the academic year, where, a bounce house comes out, some yard games. Just a little space on our MAC court. So it is fully enclosed. We close the door. We ask that all parents please stay with their kids, but it's a good space for kids just to run around, not get injured or get ran over by students on their phones or anything like that. So that happens, a couple times a month. We also have group swim lessons run twice a year. We have private swim lessons running throughout the year. We have rock rabbits during the summertime. So it's a great intro class to just climbing. You learn the basics of putting on a harness, making sure you're secured and all that. Great class for little kids to just learn all that. We also have birthday parties. So we do a variety of different parties throughout the year. So both the community and SCSU employees can be part of that, have a birthday party. So it's always a lot of fun. And then we do partner a lot with Parks and Rec, doing some free fishing classes. I know they've done ice fishing in the past. They've done cross-country skiing in the past. So we do a lot of partnering with them also.
I certainly think that if people are interested in maybe they've always kind of been on the fence. They were like, I don't know, I don't know if I want to have a membership. I would say certainly over the summer is a great time for faculty, staff, community members to start. It is much quieter in the summertime. There's a lot of space. And then as you kind of get used to the space, when the students come back in the fall, I think it's a little bit easier to find alternative spaces or find alternative equipment if the ones that you want are taken. I think it's much easier when you establish that in the summer to kind of adjust to the students be back in the fall. But really the summertime is one of my favorite times to use the facility because it is so quiet and there's a lot of space, and I'm able to kind of establish some kind of routine that I can usually carry through in the fall because I have more awareness of what is available in the building and where I can go if it's busy. So yeah, that's coming up, and I recommend people, if you're thinking about it, maybe start it off in the summer and see what you think if you haven't had a membership at the Miller Wellness Center before. I guess that's the other last thing that I wanted to ask. So say someone wants to check it out, but they might not want to commit to a membership. What are the options for like other ways to access the facility?
Yes. So, couple different ways. So, for yourself as an adult, adults are 14 and older in our space. A day pass is $15 plus tax. So you can purchase a day pass at our welcome desk. Or if you're like, I don't want a full membership yet, but I know I'm going to come more than once, you can buy a multi-visit pass. You get 10 visits for $80. And then you can use that throughout the calendar year from when you purchased it. So they do expire 1 year after you purchase, but that allows you to come in at 10 times that you wish to come in on. And then you can just, get comfortable with the space, start building that routine. So that way when it does get busy, like you said, you are a little bit more comfortable.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to plug for Miller Wellness Center before we go?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just come say hi to us. We're not, scary. We love just to interact with, new faces. We love to just talk. So at the very least, if you just want to have us come talk to your team, more like a one-on-one base, like a meeting, we are more than happy. We have a lot of staff that would come over, talk about what we have to offer. If you have any team outings that maybe you do need some kayaks for team building, we can help you out. We can do reservations. But yeah, just come say hi. We located right across the health clinic, right across the hall is our office. So just come say hi to us and we can do whatever you need from us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of State of Wellbeing, a podcast from South Dakota State University. This podcast is brought to you by the Mental Wellbeing Team and SD State Health.